Holy crap, how did I miss out on this show? So, I'm a VHS collector. Specifically, I collect VHS recordings of old TV broadcasts. As you can see here. Yeah, I've got a little bit of a problem. But anyways, my hunt for more deliciously rare collectibles has led me to stumble across this. It's a VHS recording of the world premiere of the series finale of Orel, Honor, which I may or may not talk about someday, but to tell you guys the truth, as much as I love great adult animated shows like Drawn Together, Futurama, South Park, The Simpsons, and whatever this is, I swear it's good, give it a shot. I have never once seen Orel. I've seen some pictures and some episode descriptions and maybe a clip or two here and there, but up until recently, and by recently I mean 6 hours ago, I didn't actually get into the show at all. It was because of that tape when I finally sat down to watch it and I realized I missed out. So, because I had the day off from work today, which is incredibly rare, I decided to catch up on the show and oh, wow. So, apparently this show got really serious really quickly. The show was supposed to last about 5 seasons, getting darker and more disturbing as it went on, but apparently, according to both Adult Swim and the series creator, the show became too dark for the lineup and was eventually cancelled. And it wasn't like, the show's getting a little too dark for us, so we're gonna have you finish up the season, wrap up the show, and we'll call it quits. No, it was more like, hey, yeah, by the way, the series is getting a little too serious for us now, so we're gonna cut your 3rd season and final season, by the way, in half. Bye-bye, see you later. That's how it went. I have never once heard of a show getting canned because it was too dark and depressing. So I did some research on that and, well, I figured out why. The show was taking a very sinister turn, especially in the nature two-parter, but that wasn't the episode that got the show canned, no. According to the series creator, the show got canned because of one special episode that he dubbed the final nail in the coffin for Orel. That being the episode, Alone. So, one of the weird things about this, which right off the bat tips you off to how different this is gonna be, is that Orel and the whole family really aren't in this. Orel appears very, very briefly only by a dialogue cameo, and that's about it. Instead, this episode decides to focus more on the side characters, and we're gonna go through them one by one. First off, Miss Censordoll is having a heated over-the-phone argument with her mother because apparently, when Miss Censordoll was an infant, her mother had her eggs removed, and if you don't know what that means, you're way, way too young to be watching this review, so get on going. We've got lots of other family-friendly reviews for you, just don't watch this one, okay? Okay, good. There's also some heavy implications that Miss Censordoll has this evil plan to take over the town, and we never really get to see this come to fruition. It's strongly implied, but that's about it. In Season 5, Miss Censordoll was supposed to have this big story arc where she takes over the town and rules it with an iron fist just like she always wanted. But of course, the show got cancelled before we got to see any of that, so sadly, we're basically left to imagine what it would be like, but hey, at least we got something, right? This story was definitely strange, but not really different from Orel. But that's where the other 2 stories come in. Nurse Bendy is basically the town harlot. Everyone idolizes her for her, features, let's just say, and she's been with basically every single man in town. But in this episode, we get to see a brand new side to her. It turns out that mentally, Nurse Bendy is basically a child. She has the vocabulary of a child, the mannerisms of a child, the worldview of a child, all that sort of stuff. Which makes things much, much worse when you realize her role in the town. Not the best. But it gets so much worse than that. It turns out that Nurse Bendy really wants a family. A group of people to be there for her and who will love her for who she truly is instead of the nasty, dirty things that she can provide. She does this by playing make-believe with 2 bears. One named Sunny, who's her son, and one named Hubby, who's, well, take a wild guess. This is her escape. This is all she has to get away from the outside world. Because as soon as she leaves the door of her apartment, everyone's out to get her for, again, dirty, nasty things. But then, everything goes horribly wrong when Hubby Bear falls on her in a very suggestive position. To Nurse Bendy, this means that Hubby Bear was only out to get her for sex, and she can't handle it. The one place that she could be happy, the one place she was guaranteed safety, is no longer viable. Everything's ruined. And that's the end of the story. She's just left there, alone, defenseless, no longer having a fantasy world to escape to. Yeah, that's fun. But if you thought that was bad, oh boy, get a load of the other story here. Now I'm gonna warn you, this is gonna be very severe. I don't even know if YouTube's gonna let us monetize this, but you know, we're gonna have to take that risk because this needs to be discussed. Miss Scultham, Orel's teacher, has apparently just been raped by Cecil Creepler, the town's ice cream man. And she's going through a lot of struggles because she aborted the pregnancy and she's having guilty thoughts about actually wanting to meet up with him again and enjoying what she experienced. And she hears that Cecil Creepler died in jail, and the whole thing is triggering her even further. The beauty of this part is that there's no dialogue from our main character. All we really get is Reverend Putty having a couple lines and the newscaster. That's all. Everything is left to be analyzed entirely visually. And it is stunning. The artistry here is the best it's ever been, and you can't change my mind. So apparently, before Moral Orel was cancelled early, there was going to be an episode entitled, well, This, and it was basically going to kind of be a follow-up to this, or a little bit of a psychoanalyzing experience with Miss Scultham. I really would have liked to see that, but yeah, I can kind of see why Adult Swim didn't really go for this one. Still, would have been interesting. But this one really messed me up. When this one was done, I had to just stare out a window because I could not believe what I just saw. And I still can't. I still don't think I'm over it. I mean, it hasn't been too long since I saw it for the very first time, but still. Wow. This episode is dark. This episode is messed up. But I loved it, loved it, loved it. To be fair, it messed me up like crazy when I saw it because I was not expecting that at all. All I heard was the episode alone was the most distinct of the entire show. The person who told me that didn't say how it was distinct, so I'm gonna have to mail him a glitter bomb for that later. I had to process this for a few minutes. Wow. I love shows and episodes where they sit back and analyze the characters, especially ones that aren't in the main cast. Like this one. I also love the dark themes it presents and how it doesn't outright explain it to you. It's left for you to interpret. That's not to say it's open-ended, there's 100% clear, concise points they're trying to make. It's just up for you to figure them out. It's kind of like a mystery. Really, this episode has to be seen to be believed, but be warned, it's not for the weak of heart. Now, do I think that it was a good idea to cancel Moral Orel because it got too serious? No, of course not. The show was great. Let's be real. Adult Swim has a certain style of show. We all know the type. 12-ounce Mouse, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Super Jail. Now, I do like some of these shows. Aqua Teen is fantastic, and Space Ghost, oh, don't even get me started. But it's always good to have a little bit of a break from the flow. A little bit of a standout show. That's one of the reasons why Invader Zim got so popular. It wasn't like all the others. It wasn't like SpongeBob, Jimmy Neutron, or the Wild Thornberries. It got popular because it dared to be different. Moral Orel was the exact same way. And hey, if the show was getting too extreme for Adult Swim, here's an idea. Tell the showrunners that. Tell them, hey, the episode alone was great, just don't make another one, please. Kinda go back to the sillier stuff. Maybe the showrunners didn't want to do that. Maybe they would have been open to it, who's to say? That's all conjecture at this point. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. Bear with me, everybody. So, if Adult Swim was looking at the way Moral Orel was going, you know, with the extra character development and darker themes being introduced, they were already probably strongly considering going back to the same old well that they've been to time and time again. And spoiler alert, keep going to time and time again, even now. But then they saw this and thought, okay, the show is never going to go back to what it used to be. It's probably only going to get worse. We got to get rid of it. Do I agree with that? No, but at least I can see where they're coming from, even if it was objectively wrong. I'm being biased though, so ignore that please. Who am I kidding? It's the internet. You're not going to ignore that. This is how much the episode really spoke to me. I saw this episode today, did tons and tons of research on it, and bam, here we go! Of course, to be fair, we make these Media Mementos episodes months in advance, but you get what I'm trying to say, don't you? Holy crap, I need to watch the rest of the show. By the time this episode has come out, I've probably already finished the show, but at the time of recording, I've seen about 12 episodes, and they're pretty short, so I could get through them pretty quickly. But yes, the creator has confirmed it. This is it. This is the episode that was so dark, so twisted, so complex and intellectual, that it got Moral Orel cancelled. This is the reason we didn't get seasons 4 and 5. This is the reason we never got that arc of Miss Sensorol taking over the town. But even so, that doesn't take away from how brilliant and utterly disturbing Alone truly is. Well folks, thanks for watching the video. What'd you think of this? Have you seen this episode? And hey, Moral Orel fans out there, how does it feel hearing from a guy who's only literally just now seen the show? Comment below and let me know, because I'm always excited to hear what you guys have to say. Real quick, I'd like to thank our Patreon executive producers, Azarius, Leaf Razor, Reziel, Sophie Burgers, and Tanner Kapishki. If you too would like your name read at the end of every Media Mementos episode, then consider donating to our Patreon, which has a link in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I gotta go stare out a window more. Like, what was that?